and today we're going to talk about your 522 soft serve ice cream machine. We're going over the steps of how to assemble and sanitize, and we will go through all the individual steps. So let's get into it. One thing about your SaniServ 500 twin twist unit is that we have the fewest components in the industry to clean, assemble, and sanitize. I know this looks like a lot, but compared to a lot of competitors, it really is not. So what we're going to do, and the other thing is, you cannot assemble these in a way where you put them together backwards. They're designed to go in one way. And what we're going to do is we're going to begin assembling and putting them together. So I'm going to start with the rear seal. I'm just going to take the rear seal and I'm going to pinch it and make it sure to get the actual seal in the groove on the plastic bearing. I'm going to put 3 pencil size like dots around the shaft of your dasher. Then you're going to place the seal plastic side down and kind of twist to engage it there. Once we have our seal on, we can now begin to install our blades. Okay, the blades are very simple to install. You got this little pin here and the flat areas here, and these are the bars that actually engage with the dasher. Now you want to take your blade, slide it down, and then over till it stops where it engages there. Of course, each dasher has 2 sets of blades. So we will want to repeat this step for the other blade too as well. Just like that. Okay. Once you get the blades on, they are directional. They cannot be put on backwards, but you do want to make sure that the longer edge faces towards the front of your dasher. And it should slide on like that. And if everything's all good, your blade should slide down just like that. And the same thing with the front. We want the long side in, and then the back goes sliding back in the hole like that. And then that should also lie down flat. Okay? Once we get those on, it is time to introduce the stator rod. And again, we'll do a pencil eraser size there, and pencil eraser size glob there. And then we'll place it inside the dasher to where it engages the hole in the back. Then at that point, we are ready to introduce the dasher to our barrel. And you're just going to slide it in there and push it back. And you'll feel it engage the drive system. You'll know when it engages the drive system when there is no longer any spinning in the dasher. So it is ready. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start assembling our faceplate assembly. We will have 3 plungers, and it is very important to note which one is your center plunger. It will be the one with the line down the center on both sides of the plunger. This keeps your ice cream mix from mixing together when you dispense. So you will have one side chocolate, one side vanilla. If you see your machine is not doing that, and you got a mixture of vanilla and chocolate, you probably have the plunger in the wrong location. The center plunger needs to go in the center. And again, it's the one with the line in the center. Whereas the both outsides do not have that. So we will start with one of our outside plungers. And I will just take the O-ring and slide it right into that groove. Now both black O-rings are the exact same size. Does not matter which groove you put them in. The only difference is the groove in the front is just slightly deeper to allow me to slide this O-ring easily over it and into the second groove like that. Now, once you do that, just again, pencil size eraser dollop there and a dollop there. and we are going to go around that seal in particular. And just any excess can go in between. Once we have that, this can go on either side. You're just going to take it and you're going to twist until it slides down into position. We'll repeat the set for the second plunger. Again, make sure you have the outside plunger. We're going to start with the black O-ring around the inside. Again, they are both the same size, so either one can go in either groove. And then you're going to take this second one and just slide it over the first like that till it goes in its groove. Once you do that, we're going to do a pencil eraser size dollop on each seal, and we are going to go around the seal. Particularly the seal is the most important part, and then just any excess you can kind of put between there. Once you do that, we will take this and we will just twist it into place. Okay? The final one will be your center, and this one's going to be a little bit different. First of all, make sure your center O-ring is the appropriate way. You do not want to put this on inside out. That can cause tearing and problems. It should be pretty obvious, but just FYI, you do not want to do that. You want to take the O-ring and you're going to slide it into the first groove. And it's just going to want to naturally do that. And then you're just going to give it a little gentle tug and pull it out and let it slide on past until you get to the second groove. And just be careful not to pull on it too much or anything like that till you get both in the grooves. You should have the line down there, a white line down there each side to help keep the mix separated. And then we're just going to repeat the same step as the sides. One pencil eraser and one pencil eraser. You're going to come around. Again, the focus is always on that seal. That seal is what matters. And then I do want to get in between these two as well. And then any excess you can just push between there. Once you get that on, we're going to place this and we're just going to twist. And twisting really just helps to extend the life of your O-rings. You can feel resistance as you push it down. And if you just keep going to the same spot with that resistance, it will eventually wear it faster. So it just kind of spreads that out. At this point, we can now introduce our handles. And doesn't matter which one you put them in, they're all the same. So we're just going to drop. Again, you got your flat edge with your hole. Just line that up with the holes on there. And the same thing there. Just like that. Then we're going to take our plunger rod and we're going to just start sliding it through. And you might have to move them a little bit to kind of get them where they line up. But don't worry, it's not too difficult. Just make sure you line up every hole and push it on through. And just like that. It does not matter which way you slide your rod from. Do the same thing either way. Okay? Once you get your rod inside the plungers, you want to, of course, pull down on the plungers. Get them down as far as they can go. That's going to be important for later on. We're going to come to the back side, and you're going to have your black O-ring here. And this, you'll see it's not really tapered, but it kind of has a thin edge, and then it goes into a thicker surface around the back side. It's important not to try to put it on like that backwards, put it on that way. It should be obvious if you do, but you do want that thinner edge, and I would say tapered, but it's not really tapered. But you want that thinner edge facing out. And your other big thing when you do these O-rings is you want to make sure that you get that O-ring inside. You can see how it's outside right there. So I'm just going to take my finger and go around. And it's really not that bad, but you have to make sure that's done or these things can rip pretty easily from that. Okay, just like that. Okay, and we'll do the same thing here too as well. Okay, come around, just make sure they are inside that groove before you go to assemble. That is a good way to have them rip if you're not inside that groove. Okay, and then at this point, we can now begin the installation process. You do want to add about a pencil eraser size dab on each side and just kind of run your finger around. If you do not do that, it's not the end of the world. It just helps to make your O-rings last longer. But it will seal either way. Okay, the biggest thing when installing, there's two things. First of all, we have to make sure these rods are engaged. So when you place the faceplate, you want to tilt it, press up on those rods until your faceplate slides in. Just like that. Once you feel it engage, you can begin by finding the pieces. And you really want to start with a crisscross pattern. And that could be a little tricky at first, but once you do it a few times, you should be good. Let's make sure it gets inside, engages that barrel, and most of all, crisscross, and try to tighten everything simultaneously. Crisscross simultaneous, and then I'm going to go over here until we get all fully engaged. And if everything's done right, these plungers rods should be on top of your plungers, and they are designed to shut your spigots automatically for you. The final thing we need to do is you just need to place the O-ring over our carb tube. You'll just slide it down and you'll engage the slot. When we get to sanitize this unit, we will place our carb tubes just inside the pan. One thing that is a new feature about our SaniServ units is there's no longer any mixed pan agitator. So there's no longer an extra piece to clean, there's no longer an extra piece to maintain. That has now been eliminated, and we've gone through a whole different process to achieve the result. Okay. So the next thing we want to do, of course, our machine was cleaned and allowed to sit and dry overnight. We want to add our sanitizer rinse to it. So it's important to follow your sanitizer packet instructions. This one requires 2 gallons of cool water for 1 bag of sanitizer. So got my water here, and I'm just going to kind of sprinkle my sanitizer around just like that. And then I'm going to take a clean whisk and stir that up. Okay, and once I feel that it is all dissolved and is good, we can now introduce it to our machine. And then we will pour our mix into the pan gently, like so. You should hear it bubble. All of our units are designed with an air pocket, or to create an air pocket, to allow the ice cream to absorb that air. That's what gives it its fluffy, light texture. So if you don't hear any bubbles, you might be missing a seal or something. So you may want to drain out and try again. Now we're going to clean the inlet tubes. We're just going to take one of our brushes that comes inside your parts kit. You can always order them from us too. And we are just going to scrub inside that inlet. It is very important that your machine is off when you do this step. We actually are going inside and kind of going against the dasher a little bit. So that would not go well if your machine was running. But now that you got that good and scrubbed, we'll just come around here and get along the side of the pan. Okay. And then we do want to, of course, the bottom of the lid does come in contact with product, so we want to make sure we get the bottom of the lid. Just like that. Okay. Once our lid is on, we will go here to the cleanout option and let the machine run for 3 minutes and clean out. Now that our unit has ran for 3 minutes, we can withdraw the sanitizer product. So I'll just place my bucket under here. Now I do want to press clean again just to turn it off. At that point, I can draw out the sanitizer located in the right side of the barrel. A lot of people do ask us about mix, and you should be able to source ice cream mix from your local food provider. Now there are 3 different types. There's frozen, which has a longer shelf line, has to be kept frozen of course. There is liquid, which doesn't have quite the shelf length, but is easy to use, easy to introduce. And then you have powder, which of course also has a long shelf life. Each of them have their really advantages and disadvantages. Things to know though is frozen, you want to introduce that to your refrigerator 3 days before you introduce it to your machine. That's very important. Of course, the powder you want to mix overnight or mix before you're ready to introduce it to your machine and allow it to sit overnight so all those particles are completely dissolved. And then liquid can just be straight up introduced to your machine when you are ready. So I got my powder form here, and I'm just going to introduce it to my bucket of water. It's always important to follow the directions from the mix provider. This one wants 2 gallons of cool water for every bag of mix. So we're just going to get all that in there. Cool. Once you get all your mix introduced, we can begin stirring. Now you want to make sure you stir very well completely. Make sure there's no clumps. Kind of get all that out of there. Again, a lot of that will be rectified by letting it sit overnight, but you don't want it to really clump in the bottom and have all the water up top. That does nobody any good. We're just gonna make sure we get a good stir. Okay. And now we're ready to store overnight. We'll introduce it tomorrow. Now, after we sanitize, you may notice some sanitizer still up top, and that is quite normal. And what you want to do with that is you want to introduce some of your mix to there. The mix is actually more dense than the sanitizer, so we'll allow it to flush the sanitizer out. Of course, you want to remove your carburetor too. And we're just going to start from the front and allow it to force it on through. And what you should see is as I draw, the water will turn more cloudy, like the color of the mix, and then you should eventually get it to the same consistency as what you put in. And just like that, right there. And we will dump this excess and get ready to introduce all of our mix. Now we will introduce all of our mix. We're just gently gonna pour it into the pan. Again, you should hear bubbling, airtight seal. We know it's not gonna leak because we did the sanitizing process earlier. Just pour all your mix that you have in there. At this point, you will want to lubricate your carb tube. Just one pencil eraser size dowel, and make sure you get it all around the seal. It's really just to extend the life of your O-ring. And we'll place it inside the inlet. Once that's done, we can reintroduce our lid. Okay. Once our lid is introduced, we can then go to the freeze option. And I'll discuss a little bit about standby here in a minute. I'll press and hold. A light should illuminate. And then we will hear the refrigeration engage. And then we'll just wait about 8 to 10 minutes and we should have ice cream. So once our machine is done and frozen down, it should turn off just like that. And then we're ready to draw. So we'll start with our vanilla, actually chocolate. Also have our vanilla. And then of course, a twist option. Your 522 machine comes with a standby option. That's this third option down here. And what to do is you want to hit that button down there, as well as that button down there. And that should disengage your draw option, while also keeping your spinner inside activated. What this does is this sets it to come on every 10 minutes. And then shuts off and runs after 2 minutes. Allows you to hold over for slow draw periods or even overnight if you wish. That way you don't have to clean the machine the next day. It is important if you leave it overnight to draw out what is in the chamber. This can be put back away and used as rerun, but it does have to be mixed 50-50 with fresh product afterwards. So just clear the chamber. The product will be over agitated after night, and then you're ready to go from there.